Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I'm not alone, because we will do the debrief, I believe it's the first time ever, with three of us. Andy, you already know Andy, Lorenzo. Okay, we won 2-0. Andy, you want to start with the debrief? You can hold it if you want. First of all, you have something with you, huh? A beautiful gift.
Signed ball from Bobo Vieri himself.
That's the ball that we scored with.
Yes, yes.
What did you think about the game?
Put it back.
Then he put it back, indeed, the one. Andy, what do you think about the game?
Firstly, I'm pleased we won. It was vitally important that we did win, given the recent results. In terms of the performance, very lackluster. I'm glad we actually sealed it in the first half, because that second half we really ran a lot of risks. Defensively, a little bit all over the place still. Gatti, I'm still a little bit unsure about.
Was it the worst one of the game?
For Gatti or?
Gatti.
One of the worst. But we saw enough. Luckily, Udinese weren't enough of a threat to. I know they hit the crossbar and had a couple of other chances, but it was almost too late by the time they actually switched on, really. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad we got the 3 points, but by no means a brilliant performance at all.
Well, what did we need today? We needed the 3 points, or did we need the performance? Because both of them were not great. Okay.
Absolutely the 3 points. The result's always paramount, regardless of performance. I mean, that's what gets us up the table, really, isn't it? The points, not the performance. So yeah, the 3 points was absolutely vital. So I'm happy in that sense. But I think there's still a few things that needs addressing.
Lorenzo, I will pass the mic to Lorenzo. Give me the ball here. The ball is beautiful. I will give it back. I will give it back.
Center of the
I trust him.
Look at that, with the signature of a ball. We have a Serie A ball, an official one, and we are putting it away.
That was free.
Lorenzo, you already told me about your favorite player, but that video was not good with the microphone. Right. Say it again.
All right, yeah, no, I really like. I was saying to Beppe earlier that I really like the performance of Savona. I think he's showing really a good maturity. It's impressive sometimes that you think that this is actually the first season in the top level in Serie A.
Were you already watching him with the next gen, or you said, I'm discovering the player?
Very sporadically, to be honest. I was familiar with him, but to be honest, it was just one match at a time in the next gen, and maybe I watched him like in the pre-season friendly sometimes. I remember he looked good, but I wasn't expecting him to do this kind of level of maturity, this jump. Even when Thiago Motta, I mean, I trusted Thiago when he put him in the first team. I was like, okay, he must know what he's seeing. But at the same time, I thought in the back of my mind, okay, maybe he's just going to be, Danilo is going to, or Calulo is going to be starting on the right flank, and, he's going to be a cameo here and there. And then I started seeing him, starting and playing with a maturity that, yeah, I think it's just beyond his years.
But he had like, and these 2 games, you know what, wait, so that we have both of you. He had like these 2-3 games where he was a bit dropping in terms of performances. Were you the one that says, it's maybe a bit too early for Savona to be a starter at Juve, or you said we need to insist with these young players?
I think with young players, you've always got to accept they're going to make mistakes. But with Savona, I think he's learning very quickly. He's playing in some really big games already this season, and yes, he's made I think some of the games we've had this season, he's made some mistakes, but you have to accept that. The young players, and that's part of the process of becoming a top player or a mature player. Is you have to make mistakes, and it's those that react. And I think Savona, given some of the lackluster performances that you've mentioned, to put a performance in today, and I'm so happy he scored. I just want to get that out there. I'm so happy he scored, because that's going to do his confidence a world of good. Really, really is. And and
it's not easy to be there at that moment, because the ball is going on the post, coming back, and he's putting it with his weak foot. So it's absolutely not easy to be there at that moment, because he's playing super high at that moment.
Yeah.
We did. So I want to speak about two midfielders, Kefren Thuram and Teun Koopmeiners, because we have actually one that we were expecting a lot, Koopmeiners, and probably we didn't see enough. And one where maybe we were a bit disappointed in the last game, that today delivered a really beautiful performance. Who wants to start?
I mean, I can take I can give my take on Cop Miners because it's a player I really like, and it was probably the one that I was the most excited about among the summer signings, to be honest. And I think it's just so different, and we don't realize it because we're coming off of the kind of, let's say, the bit of a depression of the second Allegri period, and we haven't won that much recently, and so we think that it's just another team, but I still think that Juventus carries a different weight in Italy, like in the world.
True.
The shirt maybe is a bit heavier, and also the pressure. I mean, when he went to Atalanta, he didn't go for that kind of money, and it wasn't like the signing of the summer that you had to wait like months and months and months. Whereas it's a totally different ballgame here. It's kind of like when Vlahovic first joined. I mean, a different way because maybe Vlahovic was already scoring when he arrived, but then he had a bit of a lull afterwards. But
did it today? The performance of Cope, because it was not a good one. Was it more because of him and a bad performance, or was it because we are playing that much on the wings that we were not able to find him because there was zero penetrations vertically from the center of the field? So what is more at Cope performance or the team that was not looking there?
I think we've got to understand he's come back from an injury. He's not really found consistency yet to find his. I don't think he's match sharp yet, personally. I think we've got to look in that sense that he's got to have a run of games and understand the system a bit more as well, because it's a very fluid system. I know obviously what he played at Atalanta is not quite the same in my books. It's a very fluid system. He's having to drift out wide at times. And he's asked to do a lot of different things. So I think it's a matter of patience. And similarly with Kefren Turam as well. It's a very different system to him. He's used to a three-man midfield rather. To play a double pivot, effectively speaking. And I think it's the same. If I'll say the same about all the players, it's a gelling process at the same time. And you're seeing signs of good performances and also some bad performance, but I attribute a lot of the bad performance also partly down to the players trying to adapt still to what Motta wants. And for me, I think it's just a matter of patience.
Today, Kefren, he scores a known goal, but thanks to him. He's going with the Paul Pogba celebration. I don't know if you watched it or not. He's going with that Paul Pogba celebration. Did he deliver to Paul Pogba performance? Is he still far away? Is it not, and he will never be Pogba? Your takes on Kev, that according to me played the best game so far at Juve.
Definitely, I think Kefren definitely delivered the best performance in a Juventus shirt. But at the same time, I still think he has room to grow. I think there is definitely more that I expect from him, and I think the thing. Like, that's also why he didn't finish the match as well. It's someone that I want to see a full 90 minutes, and I want to see a consistent full 90 minutes from. I think he definitely can deliver more from that.
Could it be that Thiago goes with a people management thing, like the game of Thuram is perfect, I keep him out before the first mistake, because anyway, we are winning 2-0, we are not risking that much. Let him go out in a beautiful note. Could it be, or you think no?
Yeah, it's a good take.
Sometimes I have good things. Sometimes
I think it goes off the back of the Parma game, really. I noticed really late on in the second half he was really tiring, and he was struggling to run, and I think it's a bit of people management in terms of managing your resources. I mean, in a way, putting McKennie on is a bit of a like-for-like. You put a bit of physical presence in that midfield as well. So I think it was more just people management, obviously, with a lot of players are out injured and trying to find their fitness. I think it's more management rather than anything to do with how good or bad his performance may or may not have been.
We have a Kenan Yildiz that we saw 20 minutes as a striker, because let's not call it falso 9, because if Thiago is watching the channel, he will kill us. But he's played as a striker instead of Vlahovic. Unfortunately, we didn't see a lot because we didn't play with. At the end, the second half was really bad. Is it something that you think we will see more? Is it? What's your take? Can he do that role? Because a lot of time we were speaking about it in the papers, and now we saw him finally in that role.
I want to see Yildiz as a second striker, and I think this is the toughest thing for me to watch, because there is Cope that's kind of his position, and that's kind of what we bought him for. But at the same time, I feel like Yildiz would shine a lot more as a second striker.
Changing the system to adapt for Yildiz or no?
Yeah,
it's tough, huh?
It's really tough. I think it's tough for Thiago as well, to be honest.
That's the thing. Your take on Yildiz there?
for me, he's not a centre forward. I go with the sentiment that he's more of a second striker, if anything. But to change the system, I don't necessarily agree. I think Motta has to keep to his principles and what he knows. In answer to, I was actually surprised Mbangula didn't come on sooner.
Yeah.
I actually thought, as a matter of fact, when he came on, I thought Mbangula was actually going to lead the line, which I think we've seen 1 or 2 games so far. Udinese was going to stay out wide somewhere. So I was actually surprised. But I think the crucial part is actually waiting on Nico Gonzalez, if not Milik, because I think Gonzalez really is the only answer, I think, at this stage that could potentially be a vice Vlahovic, at least for now, until the January transfer window. But
a few words on Conceição and Di Gregorio. Chico entered well, eh?
Chico entered well, yeah.
Love him. I wanted him in the summer and we got him, and I'm glad he's proving.
I was sleeping on Conceição. I really was not aware of how good he was. No, because I think I barely watched kind of Porto in the Champions League, and I don't really follow Portuguese football like in the league, so I wasn't really aware. I think I watched him once in Ajax, and I remember being very underwhelmed when he was kind of hyped, but he didn't really perform that well. And so I don't know, I trusted Giuntoli. I didn't think it was a mistake to sign him or anything. Also, he was on loan, technically.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I've actually watched a lot of Portuguese football as well, and Porto, especially under Conceição, the father, the previous manager, shall we say, and Chico was always there at the right place, right time. More often than most, he was scoring crucial goals, creating crucial assists. So when we were linked with him, I was genuinely happy. I know. So
you knew.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd seen him at Ajax, but I think you have to remember the Eredivisie, the Dutch league, is by no means a measure of how good a player is.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that even with managers who have come in and out of that league. I mean, I can name countless players who've done really well or done badly. And I don't think it's ever a measure of a player, but certainly what I'd seen of Conceição Jr., Chico, should we say? He certainly impressed me a lot at Porto. For me, he was one of the crucial players, and I'm glad we actually got him and not Galeno, who was the other winger that we were linked with, because Sancho, very good, but I always had questions about his attitude. That was always my main concern. Footballer, fantastic, don't get me wrong, but attitude-wise,
I think he needs to feel loved. He's one of those players that needs to feel absolutely loved, and not just one of the other players.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm just here to keep the stick, because they're having the conversation, they are running the channel, and I really love it. Because I was like, will we be able to feel like 10 minutes of discussion? I don't know. Sometimes they are speaking. Go, continue. Go. Analyze the game. I just hold the stick and the ball.
I think you mentioned Di Gregorio as well.
In that first half, the saves were not bad at all.
Yeah, I think he has a real tendency to punch the ball, which kind of worries me a little bit.
Alla Peruzzi.
Yeah, that's true. But no, again, I always feel relatively safe with him. Obviously, we've got a fantastic backup in Matteo Perin as well. So I think goalkeeping position, I think we're very stable.
A last word on an opponent. Luca is going with a bar. Is he a player that could reinforce us? I'm not saying about Mercado, but is he the player that you would like to reinforce us on a cheap cost in January, or you say we could potentially find better?
I don't think he's going to come cheap, especially in January. And it's Italian clubs, they put a premium on these things, especially when Juventus comes knocking on the door. Again, I'd seen Luca at Ajax, and again, this is not me trying to say it's a measure, because he really didn't do well there either. He was a very promising player. I think he was at Pisa before that, wasn't he? Yeah. And again, it's very hard to measure at this stage. He's obviously got a physical presence, but he's still very raw. And I think we have to understand a player of his age who's quite young. It's very difficult to be a vice Vlahovic, because we have another situation where we might have another Moise Kean situation, where really at that age you want continuity, you want to play as often as you can.
True.
So I'm not overly sold on it, truth be told. But that's not to say he's a bad player, but I'm not overly sold.
Lorenzo neither.
I'm not super sold on Luca for some reason. I think he's having a good half a season, but it's probably the first good half a season he has in his career. and I don't know how much that could continue. My dream would be if we were to invest early on, even though it could come for free later, in Jonathan David from Lille.
Yeah. I mean, in January it's impossible because he's Canadian and American.
Oh.
Canadian.
Yeah, he has double citizenship.
Yeah.
So we have a problem there. We cannot take him for a...
Anyway, we have to invest money for a center back.
Let's buy someone.
So,
Ragazzi, you want to go with a prediction so that we close prediction Lille, Juventus Champions League, or better not?
it's a dangerous game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough game. Lille are on a good run of form. They've
Yeah.
already beaten Real Madrid. I'm going to be positive and say a 2-1 win.
2-1 win.
1-1.
No, we cannot close the channel like that.
I'm sorry.
We cannot go.
Last minute penalty.
We need
sorry,
someone
win.
for
I
a
don't see
prediction of
it.
Lille Juve, but a beautiful one.
I'll tell you what, he gets...
Sorry,
I try to be positive.
sorry. We will try to. Hello. How is the name? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Ah, we need someone with a prediction of Juve.
Oh, my friend's
He
already...
needs to tell us a prediction of Juve that is positive.
Pick a score. Make it
Give us a prediction. Wait.
Make
We
a
have a
good
turn.
score.
We have always a
Alessandro,
solution.
positive prediction.
So a positive prediction. Lille, Juventus. What is the score?
I would say probably 1-2.
Bravo. I like
Oh,
that.
but to who?
No, 1-2 is
Oh, to
we win,
Juventus.
huh?
Ah, yeah.
I like your prediction better. No, we couldn't.
Hey,
finish
gone with
like
my
that.
prediction.
Yeah, bravo.
Yeah, it's
2-1, and 1-1.
Guys, I try to be
Lorenzo.
too balanced. I don't know.
You know what you need to
Hopefully
do?
I'm wrong.
You know what you
Hopefully
need
I'm
to do, right? You need to get some Champions League stickers.
That's
That's the
thing.
one. Get a few packets of Champions League stickers and see how many Juve players you draw out. Yeah.
Ragazzi, thank you for watching. I was super happy to have Lorenzo, Andy. We even had the lucky charm because we will win 2-1. Thank you. I love the event. It was really, really nice. But the most beautiful thing was doing the post game. Me, not talking. They are talking. Grazie, forza.
Juve.
Ciao.